Hello, so I decided to make a caramel apple upside down cake, which I'm pretty excited about. In the US we usually do a pineapple upside down cake and I'm not a huge fan. So right now I'm making the caramel sauce, which is a 1/4 cup of butter, a 3/4 cup of lightly packed brown sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, a pinch of kosher salt, and about 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm going to cook that about 2 minutes until it's slightly thickened and it'll get nice and caramely. And then I'll be spreading it in the bottom of my cake pan, which I'll show you that when I get to it. And this is about the 2-minute mark when the caramel gets nice and bubbly and starts to turn slightly thick. And then you know it's ready. We'll turn that off. Now we're going to pour it into our cake pan. And here is our sprayed cake pan. It's about an 8 or 9 inch. Now I've put the caramel in, and now I'm going to layer the apples on top. Sorry, my neighbor's out mowing the grass and I have the window open because it's nice and crisp all day. I have all of the apples in, and I'm sure there's a way to make that center prettier, but that's okay. Now I'm going to make the cake batter to pour on top. Now I'm doing the cake, which is 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and it calls for 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. I didn't use quite as much, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. I'm not a huge nutmeg fan, so I shortened that up as well. Now I'm going to move on to the wet ingredients. Now I'm doing the cake batter, which the first step is 1/2 cup of brown sugar, lightly packed, 1/2 cup of softened butter, and a full cup of regular granulated sugar. We're going to mix this together and then we'll add the rest of our ingredients. And Oliver is helping me with this. Let me turn up a little bit. Whoa, 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 too much. I've beat together the sugar and butters, and now I'm adding 1 egg at a time for a total of 2 eggs. I've just added a teaspoon of vanilla. Now I'm going to scrape down the sides and then add 1/2 of the dry flour mixture. I've scraped down the sides of the bowl. Now I'm going to add about 1/2 of the dry mixture. Now I added 3/4 of a cup of regular milk, and I'll be finished mixing and add the rest of the dry ingredients and then pour it over our beautiful cake. Here's the cake batter all finished. It should be really nice and thick and a good, just mix until combined. You don't want to overmix. And now I'm going to pour it on top of our cake, and then I'll put it in the oven at 350 degrees for about an hour, or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. Then we'll cool it for 15 minutes on a rack, and then we'll invert it or flip it onto a plate. Now I'll just spread it evenly. Try to get it as smooth as possible. Okay. And again, we're going to put it into 350 degree oven for roughly 30 minutes. don't forget to set the timer. And I think I said 30 minutes, but it's actually supposed to be an hour. But I would check it a little sooner. Okay, I just pulled it out of the oven. It truthfully wasn't quite an hour, and I put a toothpick in and it came out clean. So now I'm gonna leave it on this rack to cool for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to flip it and invert it onto this clear glass plate. And then you'll get to see the top. Okay, time to flip the cake. It's been about 15 minutes. So I'm just going to place the plate here, grab a rag, and then flip it and hope it works. All right, I did the flip. Now we're gonna lift it up and see what happens. Maybe. Ooh, looks amazing. And we'll let you know when we cut into it tonight, but I think it's gonna be delicious. So there is your caramel apple upside down cake.